This Old Gamer is paid for by contributions by viewers like you and by...
Oh my god, Skylines Mall is like so awesome. It's huge, like it's at least 10,000 square yards or something. And there's a Starbucks, it's so lit. Macy's has like cheap AF deals, but I think they might be closing. There's even somewhere to leave my kids unsupervised for hours. Like, totally go there, because it's been like kinda dead lately.
Hello and welcome back to another Cities with John episode. I am thrilled to have you along for the ride today as we enter downtown episode 7. And it is really coming along. I'm having a great time making this downtown series. It's been quite a challenge, but really been my first downtown experiment. And since I've been using Plop the Growables, I have not made a downtown using this method. And I'm having a great time making it. It's just been really a lot of fun. And while you were away, I made this pedestrian bridge to connect this area that we're going to be working on today. I already have a little bit of parking over there and a nice little overlook into the canal, but this pedestrian bridge turned out fantastic. Of course, it's fully functional. People can walk across it. Let's take a stroll across it right now. Oh, not so much social distancing going on this one. And, I don't want to be too far from you, lady. So we are sticking with the initial plan. This is from episode 6, as you might recall. We're going to keep the office space kind of in the corner that we're working on today. That is really going to be our focus. Now, the first thing we need to do is add some additional parking. As I was doing episode 6, I thought, where are all these people going to park? So I downloaded this, subscribed to this new asset by King Leno, just a fantastic, modern-looking parking garage. It just fits perfectly in this downtown. Absolutely beautiful by the king of assets, King Leno. If you are starting a city and wanting to do a lot of American custom assets, a lot of suburban things, look him up. All he does is win. It's just some great looking stuff. So tucking away this little parking garage, and it looks fantastic right here, right across the street. Plenty of parking for people to go shopping downtown. So a little bit about some other changes that's happened to the channel. You might have noticed I changed my name. I'm now This Old Gamer. Multiple reasons that happened, mainly because my name was kind of all over my YouTube channel. And I kind of wanted to have something without my actual name. And that's what I decided to go with. I've been kind of wanting to do that. I thought it was a cool name for a YouTube channel, and that's what I went with. And as a result, we had a little bit of fun there at the beginning. I hope you enjoyed that Skylines Mall commercial. Thank you to my wife for doing the voiceover. She read the script just perfectly. So this is the area that we are focusing on today. We're going to cram it full of some additional retail, but we're also going to combine it with lots of offices, multi-use buildings indeed. City videos will still be called Cities with John. That's what I'm sticking with. And I just decided to do that even though I had wrote out a big rant about how if you look up Cities with John on YouTube, you get every type of thing except for this channel, except for these videos. But I decided just to leave the name that, because I am ultimately probably going to have some other games on this channel. But this is mainly going to be a City Skylines channel. So don't panic. Don't panic. We're going to keep things City Skylines. It's my favorite game. It's my hobby. And I have a great time making it, and that's what we're going to stick with, okay? So enough on all that. I appreciate you being here regardless of what my name is, regardless of what your name is. I'm just thrilled to have you along for the ride, and I hope you enjoy watching my videos. So we are doing a little bit more networking. We're connecting a road up underneath the interstate there directly into the tram line, and that's going to allow us to make some really cool corner buildings and some neat setups. So these particular assets are from the Modern City Pack. It's downloadable content officially from Paradox Interactive. I believe it was on sale recently for like $2.99 or something like that. It's a really it's a steal for $2.99. Paradox Interactive celebrated 5 years of City Skylines. I came along, I guess it was probably like year 2. And when I first started playing this game, I played completely vanilla, absolutely no mods. I kind of wanted to play the game the way it's meant to be played, and that's exactly what I did. And I think it made me a better designer on this game as a result. Not using mods at first and learning the overall mechanics and gameplay of this game, I think really helped me. It also made me kind of addicted to having to keep up with those things and the quality of life for myself on the game. I wanted to play it with everything turned on, even as a designer doing it like this. I wanted to keep everything turned on, but oh, the Coca-Cola truck is back. But yeah, I wanted to keep the fire and all that kind of stuff on, and eventually I had to turn that stuff off because I would spend hours designing things and doing like what you're seeing here, using prop line tool to put some extra wide decals for extra wide sidewalks along this building. And then I would turn around and scroll out and realize that half of my population's houses and businesses had burned down because I wasn't paying attention to how many firehouses I had, and etc., etc. So I finally turned the fire off. But yeah, here's a little end result for you. I think that looks really good, and we're going to kind of detail that area up, and I'll show it off here in just a moment. Next up, we have these generic high-end retail buildings. We've combined them with a Rite Aid. We're going to get rid of one of these because it's a tad bit too wide and it's kind of having some terraforming issues. We're going to add this Crate and Barrel. Oddly enough, they are not known for their Crate and Barrel cells. They're more of a... Honestly, I have no idea. Leave something in the... Let me know in the comments of what Crate and Barrel sells, if you've ever been in one. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not going to Google it. Yes, I could. I'm not going to. I'm only learning from my comments. This point forward, on my channel only, let me know what Crate and Barrel sells. They might sell Crate and Barrel products, but I don't think they do. So this Best Buy, we just kind of combine with the Crate and Barrel. I know they don't sell crates and barrels at Best Buy, that's for sure. So this is what we kind of define as a multi-use building. So those are 2 commercial buildings, ploppable Rico buildings. And then we're just going to take this moderately sized sky-rise building. We're just going to take it using Move It, copy it, and make a even larger, wider base skyscraper, so to speak. And we have a shorter version of it, which combines with it just perfectly like that. Very, very nice. I like that. So now you have a multi-use building. And we've been doing that a lot in this downtown series, especially on episode 5, Building Robin Park. So parking is something that we need a lot of, and this is going to be a busy part of the map, and it needs parking. So we're making an extra big parking spot. We already have the parking garage, and this is just going to be another large parking lot. I love making parking lots. Sometimes they're a pain in the butt, but I do like to make those very much so. Very large parking spot here. Takes up a lot of space, yes, but I think it will be needed, especially since this is only the beginning of this part of the map, and we're going to have a ton of stuff for people to do down here. And there you have it. Now, one thing we are going to continue to focus on will be pedestrian pathways. So even though we have a new one right over on the other side of the road there, crossing the canal, we're going to put one right here as well. And this pedestrian pathway, ultimately what I'm going to do with it is we are going to extend it into all the way across the canals. That is not going to be on this episode. That is something I'm planning on doing. We are going to extend that. It's going to go across the canal, back onto the sidewalk, across the other canal. We have 3 separate large canals here. And I built those canals just kind of as a challenge for this downtown and to give it something different, to make it a little bit different looking than other creators' downtowns. I wanted to do something a little bit more fun. This is a low-lying area of the map, so it's prone to flooding. As you might have saw in episode 4, yeah, I'm still cleaning up the mess from that. It cost me billions of dollars. Well, not real dollars. And by the way, while we're talking about it, the commercial at the beginning, I hope you know that I'm not making money on this channel. That was just for fun. It's not a real commercial. But I really laughed out loud at a lot of that and thought it was hilarious myself. I don't normally laugh at my own jokes, but yeah, I enjoyed making that little beginning. So here we have a little corner kind of next to the interstate across from the Best Buy and the new commercial and office portion of the map there. So it looks good. And wait a minute, we have breaking news. A police chase ends with tacos for the police. Wait a minute, never mind, we have breaking news. Police are developing flying cars, just like all the residents in this town have flying cars now. They're gonna find you anywhere. Oh. Alright, so this little corner here with this entrance to the colorful downtown bridge, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with it. I threw some trees in using the forest brush mod, but ultimately what I decided to do was put this cell phone tower in using an antenna building and then just placing the cell phone tower prop at the top. That cell phone tower prop is not like the one that you put on top of buildings, just as a smaller prop. It's actually a pretty large cell phone tower, but it's not really for scale. It does not it does not tower above anything. So I kind of wanted to make it tall, and it fit just perfectly. And you can't even tell that it's 2 separate assets. It actually looks like it's one asset. So kind of sprucing it up a tad here, putting a few little decals underneath it just to give it a little bit of detail. Love doing the details, and I think that looks pretty good. Also going to put a little AT&T sign on top of that when it's all said and done. Then I just added like a little electrical box. The electrical box actually does have electricity, so it provides a little electricity boost to this area. My electricity is still sitting pretty as a whole. I'm not in any means needing to add any additional electricity to this area. I'm going to throw in some signs here that say no dumping, so people just don't throw their junk over the side of it, although some of them already have. So this is shaping up pretty nicely. We have some additional detailing to do, especially up and around these buildings. One thing I do want to do here is just kind of add some additional sidewalks, so when you are coming from the tram area, you can kind of cut through straight to the Rite Aid and straight to the large parking lot. And then underneath here, we kind of have a little spot, this little rectangle here I noticed earlier, getting kind of down low, up underneath this bridge. It'd be a nice little spot for a fountain or some sort of small garden area. Yeah, let's just use this fountain here. We actually used this fountain in one of the beach resort series episodes, and we're going to use it again right here because I really like that fountain. And then we'll add some decals. One thing I will say about decals that I advise you is get a lot of decals and try not to use the same ones, you know, more than once or twice if you can. Obviously you're going to be using the same decals in some circumstances a lot, but this is a decal here that I've never used before, and I think it's a good place for one, right in here behind the Crate and Barrel that sells no crates and barrels. I gotta find out what they sell. Somebody better leave a comment, please. Don't Google it either. You just make it up. Wrong answers only. Okay, so we'll put some little curbs around here. This is one of those little areas that you don't really see much. You don't really see it when you're looking at this area as a whole, but when you get down low and you look around, you will see it. One thing that I'm starting to find out, and I'm trying to use it more and more, but the more that you get down to ground level, the more things you'll see that are just needing some touching up and needing some fixing. And it's kind of that's how I discovered that little blank spot, and now we have a nice looking fountain right there. And look at all those people coming into town. Lots of shopping to be done. So this is a neat little asset prop, Westfield Center. So we just slapped that on the side of this skyscraper, and now we have a multi-use building. And I'm going to slide this restaurant, this steakhouse, a little bit closer to this corner, I believe, right in here. I'm going to move the sign over. And then, it's one of my favorites. On the corner of Happy and Healthy, yet another Walgreens. I think that makes about 4 Walgreens on this map. And yeah, I love making these Walgreens. This Walgreens right here looks fantastic. We're going to turn off all the parking all around here, so people are forced to use the parking garage or forced to use the parking lot. Traffic Manager 11.0 for the win. Definitely a great mod to have, but it's kind of taxing on your system. I would say that once you discover that mod, you're going to feel like you can't live without it. So unless you do have a beefy system, I wouldn't mess with it necessarily, because you can live without it, you can go without it, but once you do start using it, you're not going to want to get rid of it. It is a quality mod that really makes a big difference in the game. I know a lot of you probably watch Biffa's videos where he fixed his traffic issues and all that. Yes, it is helpful for that, but I just like what it does to parking, the things that you can do, and the street junction changes. Whoa, look at that. That's probably going to happen a lot with this parking lot right underneath the interstate. I'm going to be wearing out the flying cars alert button. But yep, Presidential Edition Traffic Manager, great mod for sure. Really like it. I've been kind of downloading some more curbs, but I'm not using them right here. I'm using some of my classic curb collection. We're just going to kind of do a little sprucing up over here. Put in these rather large bushes and some pretty little pink trees. Kind of a break from the palm trees that I've been using all over the place. Man, there's a lot of traffic going around the Walgreens. Here we go. Good. And then we'll just add some of these little traffic arrows here or there just to give it a little bit more realistic look. Yeah, that works. And then right here at this corner, we're just going to use these curves to just kind of form that corner. Otherwise, it won't, using these concrete roads, and the main reason I use the concrete roads here is because the coming out of the asset, the parking garage there has like concrete built in around it, and that is the norm when it comes to city skyline assets. So when you use that concrete road, that just kind of blends in nicely, and it looks like it's all one and the same. Just take the big stand-up sign that we're using on the other side of the restaurant, sink it into the ground using Move It, and then that way you have a way to identify the restaurant from the other angle. Just gonna adjust some of these palm trees a little bit closer to the road, like so. We'll add a few more palm trees there, and then we will add some more decals. So again, you know, with your decals, just use them a lot, and they will serve you well. They are great at making sidewalks not look so bland, and really adding a level of detail to your buildings that you don't get otherwise. So I've tried to use them quite often in this build, and really since I started doing designing as a whole in this game. See how much better that looks? Where do you think you're going, Camaro? Get out of here. Just fix that. There we go. A few more little bushes. Nice. Oh! Man. People in this town they just drive wherever they want. Not a care in the world. Alright, so this is kind of like, I've already noticed, this is kind of becoming like the entrance to this portion of the map. So we're going to put little billboards right here and kind of do a little fluff. I'm also going to put a billboard right here, so when you come up to that stop sign, you're directly looking at that billboard. You have no choice. Prime real estate. I realize I have not named this portion of town, so I'm going to name it after my wife Katie. She's been asking when I was going to name a district after her. That's how concerned she was. It's going to be called Kate Town. Kate Town it is. So one thing that I decided to do, did a little thought, and I am going to expand the tram line a little bit. It basically, up to this point, just made a big circle around the city. And I thought, you know, I think it is time to expand it. And another reason that I decided to do that is I talked about this on some other episodes, but I'm not going to use Metro Overhaul Mod just yet. I was going to make above ground subway stations and things like that, but the tram looks really nice and works really well, and I think I'm going to stick with the tram. So adding these little luxury apartments right here next to the canal, they fit perfectly, and I put in a little brick wall there to give it a little bit of a nice edge and to protect the citizens from falling over or maybe trying to fish into the canal there. You don't want to catch any of those fish anyway. God knows how they got there. They're probably contaminated from the ore factories and ore centers on the other side of the lake there. I don't recommend fishing out of the canal, but if you want to, you can. You can grill them right here next to your gazebo. But these are super high-end apartments. There's no telling how much the rent of these places. You could probably buy a house in Lynch Park for the price of these apartments, but hey, they are right by the stores that nobody can afford. So there's a little apartment strip there, just fits in perfectly. Nice little 2x2 apartments, meaning they take up just 2x2 squares on the grid, and I think that looks really nice. And I mean, why wouldn't you want to live here? It's just prime real estate if you're living downtown, and just a little piece of residential kind of right in the middle of the entire commercial and office space that is going on at the moment. So across from these luxury apartments, we are going to build a park, and this is the built-in asset, came with the game. This is a statue of shopping, I believe it's called, and it is when you reach a milestone as far as commercial success in the game, you get this park, or if you're using mods like me, you get it free because you downloaded a mod and you cheated to get it. So for the record, I did get it when I played the game vanilla style, okay? I deserve to use this asset. But in the middle of that statue there is a couple of credit cards, which is hilarious. I don't think that would ever be a real statue, but who knows? Maybe it already is. So we're just going to throw in these little tiles right around these lamp posts, these light posts. I could take these out using prop it up, but I'm going to keep them in. I think they look okay. My curbs kind of connect with them in some places, but that's no big deal. It's a pretty bland park, to be honest, and the built-in asset parks are pretty bland, so you really do have to add to them if you're going to make them look like anything. You've got to make your own, decals and customize them to make them look a little nicer. So we're just kind of adding in some decals, copying and pasting, using Move It, our best friend Move It. And then we're going to go through, and here's one of my new curbs right here. They kind of look like they're floating. It has a really cool look to it, and I really like how that looks, and it adds a little bit more to it for sure. So. Alright, so we're going to put a little fence around this. On the other side of this interstate, keep in mind, we're really going to start kind of the residential portion of downtown, and we want to kind of have a divide between this upscale area and what's potentially going to be the neighborhoods next door. And here we have some of the pillar posts to protect citizens from getting hit by cars. Unfortunately, there was an accident, and using procedure objects, we are going to make it appear like there was an accident, and one of these poles served its purpose. So we added a little lean to that pole using procedure objects and a little tire mark running into it. And then we can find a little decal to kind of make it look rough right there. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Little details like that go a long way. Go a real long way. I like that a lot. Looks good. Alright, so people are parking on this street, and I'm going to stick with it. This is an interesting tram road. It actually has the tram kind of combine with the road itself. I don't have it connected to anything, so I haven't really seen the tram go by with the traffic, so this should be interesting. But if you're going to park here right next to this park and right by everything else, you're going to pay for it. So we're going to add in some parking meters here, and now we're making money like crazy. Well, not really. Well, that's about it for Downtown Episode 7. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I built these little letter sculptures just to top off this park. And let's take a look at our finished product for today. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining me today, especially my new subscribers. Thanks for checking out the channel, and thanks for subscribing. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed building it. I am This Old Gamer, and we'll see you next time for Cities with John. Bye-bye.